The morning sun barely touched the sky when Angelo Martinez pulled into the employee parking garage at Cortec Industries. His hands gripped the steering wheel tighter than usual. After 15 years of marriage, he had decided today would be different. Today, he would finally visit his wife, Dorothy, at her job as CEO. Not because she invited him. She never did. Not because it was a special occasion. It wasn't. But because something had been eating at him for months now, something he couldn't ignore anymore. Dorothy left home at 5:30 every morning and returned past midnight. When she did come home, she was distant, cold, like a stranger wearing his wife's face. She barely spoke to him, barely looked at him. Their bedroom had become a hotel room where two people slept, but never connected. Angelo parked his Honda Civic in the visitor section and stepped out. The morning air was crisp, almost biting. He looked up at the massive glass building towering above him, 50 floors of steel and ambition. Somewhere up there, his wife ruled an empire. He walked toward the entrance, rehearsing what he would say. "Hey, honey, thought I'd surprise you." Or maybe, "I was in the neighborhood." But the truth was simpler and sadder. "I miss you, Dorothy. I miss us." As he approached the revolving glass doors, he noticed something strange. Right there, mounted on a bronze stand beside the entrance, was a large sign. Bold black letters on white background. Angelo stopped walking. His heart dropped into his stomach. He read it once, then twice, then a third time, unable to believe what he was seeing. The sign read, "No spouses allowed beyond this point. Personal relationships compromise professional integrity. Violators will be removed by security." Angelo stood frozen. People in expensive suits walked past him, entering and exiting the building without a second glance at the sign. To them, it was normal. But to Angelo, it felt like a slap across the face. No spouses allowed? He and Dorothy had been married for 15 years. They had built a life together, struggled through his unemployment, celebrated when she got her first management position. And now she had put up a sign banning him from even entering her workplace. His phone buzzed. A text from his best friend Marcus. "Did you go see her yet? Don't chicken out, bro." Angelo had told Marcus yesterday about his plan. Marcus had been supportive but honest. "Man, something's not right with Dorothy. Marriages don't just go cold like that. You need answers." Before we continue with Angelo's shocking discovery, I need to ask you for a quick favor. If you're enjoying this story so far, please hit that subscribe button right now. It takes just 1 second, but it means the world to me and helps this channel grow so I can keep bringing you stories that touch your heart. Also, smash that like button. It really helps others discover this channel. And drop a comment telling me what city or country you're watching from. I love connecting with viewers from all over the world. Now, let's get back to Angelo and that unbelievable sign. Angelo took a deep breath and walked through the revolving doors anyway. The lobby was enormous, marble floors so polished they reflected the chandeliers hanging from the high ceiling. A massive water fountain stood in the center, and behind it, a huge portrait of Dorothy in a black power suit, arms crossed, looking powerful and untouchable. He barely recognized her in that photo. Where was the woman who used to laugh at his terrible jokes? The woman who danced with him in their tiny apartment kitchen? The woman who held his hand during his father's funeral and whispered, "We'll get through this together." "Excuse me, sir, can I help you?" Angelo turned to see a young security guard approaching, hand resting on his radio. "I'm here to see Dorothy Martinez. She's the CEO. I'm her husband." The guard's expression changed immediately. He glanced at the sign outside, then back at Angelo. "Sir, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. Spouses are not permitted on the premises." Angelo let out a bitter laugh. "You're joking, right? I'm her husband. We've been married for 15 years. "I understand, sir, but those are the rules." Mrs. Martinez was very clear about this policy. "Mrs. Martinez?" Angelo repeated. "She's my wife. Her name is Dorothy. Can you please just call her and tell her I'm here?" The guard shook his head. "I'm sorry, sir. I can't do that. You need to leave now, or I'll have to escort you out." 2 more security guards appeared, flanking Angelo on both sides. People in the lobby had stopped to watch. Some whispered to each other. Others pulled out their phones. Angelo felt humiliation burn through his chest. He wanted to argue, to demand to see his own wife, but the looks from the guards told him it was pointless. "Fine," he said quietly. "I'll leave." He turned and walked back through the revolving doors, past the cruel sign, and into the parking garage. His hands shook as he unlocked his car. He sat in the driver's seat, staring at nothing, feeling like the world had tilted sideways. Who was Dorothy Martinez? And what had happened to Dorothy, his wife? Angelo drove home in a daze. Their house, a modest two-story in the suburbs, felt too quiet when he entered. He dropped his keys on the counter and collapsed onto the couch. His phone buzzed again. "Marcus. How did it go?" Angelo called him back immediately. "Marcus, man, you won't believe what just happened." He explained everything. The sign, the guards, the humiliation. Marcus was silent for a long moment. Then he said, "Angelo, I'm going to say something, and you're not going to like it. Just say it. I think Dorothy is having an affair." Angelo's stomach twisted. "What? No, she wouldn't." "Think about it," Marcus interrupted. "She leaves early, comes home late, doesn't talk to you, won't let you visit her office. And now there's a sign specifically banning spouses? Brother, that's not normal CEO behavior. That's hiding something behavior." Angelo wanted to argue, but the words stuck in his throat. Deep down, hadn't he been thinking the same thing? "I can't just accuse her without proof," Angelo finally said. "Then get proof. Hire someone. Follow her. Do something. Because right now, you're living with a ghost." After hanging up, Angelo sat in the empty house, surrounded by photos of happier times. Their wedding day, Dorothy smiling in her white dress, their anniversary trip to the mountains, Christmas mornings. All those memories felt like they belonged to different people. He made a decision. If Dorothy wouldn't talk to him, he would find out the truth another way. That evening, Dorothy came home at 11:45 p.m., just like every other night. She walked past Angelo, who was sitting in the living room, and headed straight for the stairs. "Dorothy, wait." She stopped but didn't turn around. "It's late, Angelo. I'm tired." "I went to your office today." Now she turned. Her face was unreadable. And? "And I was thrown out by security. There's a sign, Dorothy, a sign that says no spouses allowed." Dorothy's jaw tightened. "That sign is there for good reason." "What reason?" "I'm your husband. We're supposed to be partners." "Angelo, you don't understand the corporate world. Personal relationships create conflicts of interest. I have a responsibility to my shareholders, my employees." "What about your responsibility to me?" Angelo's voice cracked. "What about us?" Dorothy closed her eyes briefly. When she opened them, they were cold. "Us?" "Angelo, look around. You're unemployed. You've been unemployed for 3 years. I'm running a billion-dollar company. We don't live in the same world anymore." The words hit him like bullets, each one finding its mark, tearing through whatever hope he had left. "So that's it?" Angelo whispered. "I lost my job, so I lost you." "I didn't say that. You didn't have to." Angelo stood up, his voice steady despite the pain. "Tell me the truth, Dorothy. Are you having an affair?" She didn't answer immediately. That hesitation, that tiny pause, told him everything. "Good night, Angelo," she said finally, and walked upstairs. Angelo stood alone in the living room, listening to her footsteps fade away. Something inside him broke. Not loudly, not dramatically, but quietly, like a glass cracking under pressure. He grabbed his phone and called a private investigator Marcus had mentioned months ago, a man named Gregory Stone. "Stone Investigations," a gruff voice answered. "I need your help," Angelo said. "I need to know what my wife is really doing at her office." The next morning, Angelo met Gregory Stone at a coffee shop downtown. Gregory was a stocky man in his 50s, with tired eyes that had seen too much. "Tell me everything," Gregory said, pulling out a notepad. Angelo explained the situation, the distance, the sign, the guards, Dorothy's cold behavior. Gregory nodded, taking notes. "Sounds like a classic case. I've seen this before. High-powered executive, long hours, sudden emotional distance. 9 times out of 10, there's someone else. I need to know for sure, Angelo said. It'll cost you. Angelo pulled out his credit card, the one Dorothy didn't know about, the one he had kept from his working days with a small savings account attached. Whatever it takes. Gregory smiled slightly. I'll start surveillance tomorrow. Give me 1 week. If there's something to find, I'll find it. If you're still watching at this point, drop a comment with, I'm enjoying this story. Let's see who's truly following this beautiful story. The week that followed was torture. Angelo went through the motions of daily life, cooking meals Dorothy didn't eat, cleaning a house she barely noticed, sleeping in a bed that felt like the Arctic. Meanwhile, Gregory sent daily updates via encrypted messages, photos of Dorothy entering and leaving the office, notes about her schedule. Nothing suspicious yet, but Gregory was patient. On day 5, everything changed. Gregory called Angelo at 2 in the afternoon. You need to see this. Meet me at the usual spot in 1 hour. Angelo's hands trembled as he drove to the coffee shop. When he arrived, Gregory was waiting with his laptop open. Sit down, Gregory said, his expression grim. Angelo sat. Gregory turned the laptop screen toward him. It showed security camera footage, clearly from inside Cortec Industries. I have a contact who works there, Gregory explained. Janitor. He owed me a favor. This is from the executive floor, recorded 2 days ago at 8 p.m. He pressed play. The footage showed a hallway outside an office labeled CEO Rebecca Martinez. The door opened and Dorothy stepped out, followed by a tall man in an expensive suit. They were laughing, standing close, too close. Then the man leaned in and kissed her. Not a friendly kiss, not a professional kiss. A deep, intimate kiss that lasted several seconds. Dorothy kissed him back. Angelo felt his world shatter. He couldn't breathe, couldn't think, couldn't move. There's more, Gregory said quietly. He fast-forwarded the footage. Now it showed Dorothy and the man entering her office together and closing the door. The timestamp showed they stayed inside for 2 hours. Who is he? Angelo managed to ask. His name is Victor Ashford, Chief Operations Officer at Cortec. He's been working there for 8 months, transferred from the London branch. From what I've gathered, he and Dorothy have been involved for at least 6 of those months. 6 months. Half a year of lies. Half a year of his wife sleeping beside him at night after being with another man. Angelo stood up abruptly, knocking his chair backward. He stumbled outside, barely making it to his car before he vomited in the parking lot. Marcus was right. The signs had been there all along. He just hadn't wanted to see them. Now he had no choice. Now he knew the truth. And the truth was destroying him. Angelo sat in his car for over an hour, staring at nothing. The video replayed in his mind on an endless loop. Dorothy's laugh, the way she leaned into Victor, that kiss. His phone buzzed. Gregory. Angelo, you there? You okay? Yeah, Angelo lied. What else did you find? Listen, I know this is hard, but there's more. Victor Ashford isn't just any COO. He comes from serious money, old money, British aristocracy type. Word around the office is that he's been pushing Dorothy to leave you, told her she deserves someone on her level. Angelo's grip tightened on the phone. On her level? That's what my source heard. I'm sorry, man. After hanging up, Angelo drove home and sat at the kitchen table, his mind racing. He could confront Dorothy tonight, scream, cry, demand answers. But what would that solve? She'd already checked out of their marriage emotionally. This would just make it official. Or he could be smart about it, calculated. For the first time in 3 years, since losing his job as a software engineer, Angelo felt something other than defeat. He felt anger, sharp, focused anger. He opened his laptop and began researching. Cortec Industries, Victor Ashford, Dorothy's position, company policies, corporate structure. Hours passed. The sun set. Dorothy came home at midnight and went straight to bed without a word. Angelo didn't even look up from his screen. By 3 a.m., he had a plan. The next morning, Angelo woke up early and dressed in his best suit, the one from his interview days. He shaved, styled his hair, and looked at himself in the mirror. "Time to remind them who you are," he said to his reflection. He drove to Cortec Industries, but this time he didn't go to the main entrance. Instead, he went to the rear entrance used by vendors and delivery services. He had researched the building's layout and schedules. He knew that between 7 and 8 a.m., security was lighter at this entrance because of shift changes. Angelo walked in confidently, carrying a laptop bag. To anyone watching, he looked like an IT contractor. No one stopped him. He took the service elevator to the 49th floor, one below the executive level. The offices here belonged to senior management, people important but not quite at the top. Angelo found an empty conference room and set up his laptop. He had work to do. 3 hours later, Angelo had hacked into Cortec's internal communications system. It wasn't difficult. He had built security systems like this before, back when he was employed. He knew every vulnerability, every backdoor that lazy IT departments left open. What he found made his blood run cold. Emails between Dorothy and Victor, hundreds of them. Not just work-related discussions, but intimate messages. Plans to meet, complaints about Angelo, discussions about divorce timelines. One email from Victor, dated 2 weeks ago, made Angelo's hands shake. "Dorothy, my love, you've been patient long enough. File for divorce. Angelo is dead weight. You said it yourself. He contributes nothing. Once you're free, we can be together properly. I've already spoken to my attorney about protecting your assets. We can make this quick and clean." Dorothy's response: "I know, Victor, I know. It's just, 15 years is hard to throw away. But you're right. He's not the man I married anymore. I'll talk to a lawyer this week." Angelo sat back, his vision blurring with tears. She had already decided. She was just waiting for the right moment to destroy him. If you're still watching at this point, drop a comment with, "I'm enjoying this story." Let's see who's truly following this beautiful story. But as Angelo read through more emails, he discovered something else, something that changed everything. Victor Ashford was stealing from Cortec Industries. The emails were coded, but Angelo's software engineering background helped him piece it together. Victor had been redirecting funds from company accounts into offshore holdings. Small amounts, never enough to trigger audits. But over 8 months, it added up to nearly $3 million. And Dorothy had no idea. In fact, some of the emails showed Victor praising Dorothy's trust in him, her willingness to approve expenses without too much scrutiny, because she believed in his vision for the company. He was using her authority, her position, and her blind affection to rob the company she had built. Angelo's anger transformed into something colder, something more dangerous: determination. He saved everything, downloaded every email, every financial record he could access, every piece of evidence. Then he carefully logged out and covered his digital tracks. As he stood to leave, his phone buzzed. "Marcus, where are you, man? You're not doing anything stupid, are you?" "Define stupid," Angelo replied, walking toward the elevator. "Angelo, I found something, Marcus, something big." "What?" "Dorothy's boyfriend is a thief. He's been stealing from her company for months." Marcus whistled. "What are you going to do?" "I'm going to save my wife's career," Angelo said, "even if I can't save my marriage." Angelo went home and spent the entire afternoon organizing his evidence. He created a comprehensive report detailing Victor's theft with timestamps, transaction records, and email proof. It was airtight, irrefutable. But he didn't send it to Dorothy. Not yet. Instead, he sent it to someone else. Marjorie Chen, the chairwoman of Cortec's board of directors, a woman known for her zero-tolerance policy on corporate fraud. The email was simple. "Ms. Chen, I am writing to report serious financial misconduct by Victor Ashford, COO of Cortec Industries. Attached is comprehensive evidence of systematic embezzlement totaling approximately $3 million. I trust you will handle this matter appropriately. The evidence speaks for itself. A concerned party." He sent it from an anonymous email account, then sat back and waited. The explosion happened faster than Angelo expected. The next morning, Dorothy came downstairs at 5 a.m. as usual, but her phone was ringing nonstop. She answered it, her face pale. What? When? I'll be there in 20 minutes. She hung up and looked at Angelo for the first time in weeks. Really looked at him. Something's happened at the office. Emergency board meeting. What kind of emergency? Angelo asked, keeping his voice neutral. I don't know yet. Marjorie called. She sounded furious. Dorothy left in a rush, not even drinking her coffee. Angelo sat at the kitchen table, drinking his own coffee slowly, wondering how long it would take for the dominoes to fall. At Cortec Industries, chaos erupted. Victor Ashford was escorted from the building by security at 7:30 a.m., his office sealed, his computer seized. Employees whispered in hallways, trying to understand what was happening. Dorothy sat in the boardroom, facing Marjorie Chen and 5 other board members. Explain this, Marjorie said, sliding a thick folder across the table. Dorothy opened it. Her hands began to shake as she read through page after page of evidence. Victor's emails, the financial records, the offshore accounts. I didn't know, Dorothy whispered. You didn't know? Marjorie's voice was ice. You're the CEO. It's your job to know. These transactions required your authorization. Your signature is on half of these approvals. He told me they were legitimate investments, company growth initiatives. I trusted. You trusted? Another board member interrupted. Dorothy, you approved millions in expenditures without proper verification because you trusted someone. That's not leadership. That's negligence. Dorothy felt her world tilting. Victor, he's been stealing? For 8 months, Marjorie confirmed. $3 million, maybe more. We're still investigating. The question now is, how much did you know? Nothing. I swear I knew nothing about this. The board members exchanged looks. Marjorie leaned forward. Dorothy, you've done excellent work for this company, but this is a catastrophic failure in judgment. We're going to have to conduct a full internal investigation. Until it's complete, you're on administrative leave. What? Dorothy stood up. You're suspending me? We're protecting the company, Marjorie said firmly. If you're innocent, the investigation will prove it. If you're not, she let the implication hang in the air. Dorothy stumbled out of the boardroom in shock. Her assistant Jennifer approached carefully. Mrs. Martinez, the police are here. They want to speak with you about Mr. Ashford. The police. This was real. This was actually happening. By evening, the story had hit the news. Cortex COO arrested for embezzlement. Dorothy's name was mentioned repeatedly, her judgment questioned, her relationship with Victor hinted at. She came home at 7 p.m., earlier than she had in months. Angelo was cooking dinner, something simple, spaghetti. Dorothy walked into the kitchen and collapsed into a chair. She looked broken, defeated. Victor was arrested, she said quietly. $3 million. He's been stealing from the company, from me. Angelo continued stirring the sauce. That's terrible. The board suspended me. They think I might have been involved. Were you? No! Dorothy's voice cracked. I trusted him. I thought he cared about the company, about me. Angelo turned off the stove and finally looked at his wife. Really looked at her. She was crying, mascara running down her face, her powerful CEO facade completely shattered. You were having an affair with him, Angelo said. Not a question, a statement. Dorothy's head snapped up. How did you? I know everything, Dorothy. The emails, the plans to divorce me, all of it. She stared at him, mouth open. Angelo, don't. He held up his hand. Don't apologize. Don't explain. Just don't. I'm sorry, she said anyway, tears flowing freely now. I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened to me. The power, the success, Victor telling me I deserved more. I lost myself. Angelo pulled out 2 plates and served the spaghetti. He set one in front of Dorothy, then sat down with his own. Eat, he said. I don't deserve your kindness. Maybe not, but you're still my wife. For now. They ate in silence. When Dorothy finished, she looked at Angelo with red, swollen eyes. Did you report Victor? Angelo met her gaze steadily. No. Then who? Does it matter? Angelo, did you? He didn't answer. Instead, he asked his own question. If you could go back 6 months, knowing what you know now, would you make different choices? Dorothy didn't hesitate. Yes, God, yes. I would choose you. I would choose us. But you didn't, Angelo said softly. When you had the choice, you chose him. You chose power and status and excitement over 15 years of partnership. I know, and I hate myself for it. If you're still watching at this point, drop a comment with, I'm enjoying this story. Let's see who's truly following this beautiful story. Angelo stood up and collected their plates. Dorothy, I saved your career. That evidence that brought down Victor, that was me. I found it. I reported it. I made sure you weren't implicated. Dorothy's eyes widened in shock. Why would you do that after everything I did to you? Because, despite everything, I still remember who you used to be. The woman who fought for her dreams. The woman who supported me when I lost my job. That woman deserved to be protected. But the woman you've become? The one who put up signs banning me from her life? I don't know her anymore. He walked toward the stairs, then paused. Tomorrow morning, I'm moving out. I've already found an apartment. You can have the house. You can have everything. But I won't be part of this life anymore. The one where I'm just dead weight. Angelo, please. Good night, Dorothy. He went upstairs, leaving her alone in the kitchen, finally understanding what she had lost. Angelo didn't sleep that night. He lay in the guest bedroom, listening to Dorothy cry in their master bedroom. Part of him wanted to go to her, hold her, tell her everything would be okay. But the larger part, the part that had been wounded and ignored for so long, knew that some things couldn't be fixed with comfort. By morning, he had packed 2 suitcases, clothes, personal items, his laptop, a few photographs from happier times. Not much to show for 15 years of marriage. Dorothy appeared in the doorway as he zipped the last suitcase. She looked like she hadn't slept either. Her eyes were puffy, her hair unwashed, still wearing yesterday's clothes. Don't go, she whispered. Angelo straightened up. I have to. Please, let me fix this. Let me prove I can be the woman you married again. Dorothy, you can't fix this by promising to change. The damage is done. She stepped into the room, desperate. I'll resign from Cortec. I'll walk away from everything. We can move somewhere new, start over. You think this is about your job? Angelo interrupted. This isn't about Cortec. This is about respect. This is about you looking at me for the past 3 years like I'm worthless because I lost my job. This is about you falling into another man's arms and planning to discard me like I never mattered. You matter, Dorothy's voice broke. You've always mattered. Then why did you put up that sign? Angelo's voice rose for the first time. Why did you ban spouses from entering your building? Was it just me you wanted to keep out? Or did you think everyone would assume it applied to all spouses so I wouldn't feel singled out? Dorothy flinched. It was. Victor suggested it. He said mixing personal and professional life was bad for optics. I didn't think. You didn't think about how it would make me feel, Angelo finished. You didn't think about what it meant. You just did what Victor wanted because you were so caught up in whatever fantasy he was selling you. Silence filled the room. Heavy, suffocating silence. Finally, Dorothy spoke, her voice barely audible. What can I do? Tell me what I can do to make this right. Angelo picked up his suitcases. I don't know if you can, but I know I need space to figure out if I even want you to try. He walked past her, down the stairs, and out to his car. As he loaded his suitcases into the trunk, he felt Dorothy watching from the doorway. He didn't look back. The apartment he had rented was small, a 1-bedroom in a decent neighborhood. Nothing like the house he was leaving behind, but it was his. A place where he could think, heal, and decide what came next. Over the following weeks, Angelo kept his phone off most of the time. He didn't want to hear Dorothy's calls or read her texts. Instead, he focused on something he had neglected for too long, himself. He updated his resume. Recreation to old contacts in the tech industry. Started working on a software project he had abandoned years ago, a security platform for small businesses. Marcus visited him often, bringing food and moral support. "How are you holding up?" Marcus asked during one visit, handing Angelo a pizza box. "Better than I expected," Angelo admitted. "It's strange. I thought I'd fall apart, but instead, I feel lighter." "That's good, man. That's really good. I spent 3 years feeling worthless because I didn't have a job. But you know what? Dorothy made me feel worthless even when I had one. I just didn't see it." Marcus nodded. "Sometimes we don't see things until we're forced to." "I got a job offer," Angelo said suddenly. "What? That's amazing. Tell me everything." "It's with a cybersecurity firm. They saw the project I've been working on and want to bring me on as a senior engineer. Good salary, great benefits. Starts in 2 weeks. Marcus grabbed Angelo's shoulders. "Brother, this is your comeback. I'm so proud of you." For the first time in years, Angelo smiled genuinely. "Thanks, man, for everything, for not letting me give up. That's what brothers do." Meanwhile, Dorothy's world continued to crumble. The investigation at Cortec cleared her of any criminal involvement, but the board decided her judgment had been too compromised. They offered her a choice: resign with a severance package or face a vote of no confidence. She chose to resign. The news hit hard. Cortec CEO Dorothy Martinez steps down amid scandal. Every article mentioned Victor, the affair, the theft. Her reputation, built over 15 years of hard work, was destroyed in weeks. She tried calling Angelo dozens of times. Each call went to voicemail. She sent text messages. No response. She even drove to his apartment once but couldn't bring herself to knock on the door. Marjorie Chen called her 2 weeks after her resignation. "Dorothy, I wanted to check on you." "I'm surviving," Dorothy said, though that was generous. "Listen, what happened was unfortunate, but I want you to know something. The person who sent us that evidence about Victor, they didn't mention you at all. They only targeted him. It was clear they were trying to protect you." Dorothy's breath caught. "Protect me?" "Yes, whoever it was, they cared about you. They could have implicated you easily, but they didn't. They were careful to show only Victor's actions." After the call ended, Dorothy sat in her empty house, the truth washing over her. Angelo. It had been Angelo. He had saved her. Even after everything she'd done, he had protected her career, her reputation, her future, and she had destroyed their marriage. If you're still watching at this point, drop a comment with, "I'm enjoying this story." Let's see who's truly following this beautiful story. 3 months passed. Angelo started his new job and excelled immediately. His colleagues respected him. His boss praised his work. He felt like himself again. The man he used to be before unemployment and a failing marriage had eroded his confidence. One evening, as he was leaving the office, he ran into someone unexpected in the parking garage: Dorothy. She was standing by his car, looking nervous. She had lost weight. Her expensive suits had been replaced by simple jeans and a sweater. She looked smaller somehow, more human. "What are you doing here?" Angelo asked, keeping his distance. "I needed to see you. You won't answer my calls." "There's a reason for that." I know I don't deserve your time, but please, just 5 minutes." Angelo checked his watch. 5 minutes. Dorothy took a shaky breath. "I resigned from Cortec. I heard. I've been in therapy, working on myself, trying to understand how I became someone I don't recognize." Angelo waited. "My therapist helped me see something," Dorothy continued. "When I became successful, I started equating worth with money and power. When you lost your job, I didn't see my partner anymore. I saw someone who couldn't contribute the way I thought they should. I was wrong. So incredibly wrong." "You were," Angelo agreed quietly. "I also figured out that you were the one who reported Victor, that you saved my career even after I betrayed you. You're my wife, or were. I wasn't going to let you go down for his crimes." Dorothy's eyes filled with tears. "Angelo, I'm not here to ask you to take me back. I know I destroyed something that can't be repaired. I'm here to say thank you. and I'm sorry. I'm so deeply sorry for every moment I made you feel less than you are. Angelo felt something shift inside him. Not forgiveness exactly, but something close. Understanding, maybe. "What are you going to do now?" he asked. "I got a job," Dorothy said, surprising him. "Not as a CEO, just a regional manager at a small tech startup. Reasonable hours, reasonable pressure. I need to remember what it's like to just do good work without the ego." "That's good. I'm glad. I heard you got a job too. Congratulations." "Thank you." They stood in awkward silence for a moment. Then Dorothy spoke again. "I signed the divorce papers. My lawyer will send them to yours next week. I'm not going to fight you on anything. The house is yours if you want it, or we can sell it and split everything down the middle. Whatever you think is fair." Angelo nodded slowly. "Okay. I also wanted you to know something else. I'm keeping my maiden name professionally now, going back to Dorothy Chen. I don't deserve to carry your name anymore." That hit harder than Angelo expected. 15 years of being the Martinezes, gone. "Dorothy," Angelo said carefully, "I don't hate you." She looked up, surprised. "I'm angry. I'm hurt. But I don't hate you. You made terrible choices, but you were also under enormous pressure. That doesn't excuse what you did, but I understand how it happened. That's more grace than I deserve. Maybe. But hating you won't help me heal." Dorothy wiped her eyes. "You're a good man, Angelo Martinez. You always were. I just forgot to see it. And you're a good woman who lost her way. Maybe you'll find it again." They stood there in the parking garage, two people who had loved each other once, saying goodbye to what they had been. "I hope you find happiness," Dorothy said finally. "Real happiness with someone who appreciates you the way you deserve. I hope the same for you." She nodded, then turned to leave. After a few steps, she paused and looked back. "Angelo, for what it's worth, you were never dead weight. You were the anchor that kept me grounded. I just didn't realize how much I needed that until I cut the rope." Then she walked away, leaving Angelo alone with his thoughts. 6 months later, Angelo received an envelope in the mail. The divorce was finalized. He was officially single again after 15 years of marriage. He didn't cry. He didn't rage. He simply accepted it. That weekend, Marcus invited him to a party. "Come on, man. You need to get out, meet people, start living again." Angelo almost said no, but something made him agree. The party was at a friend's house, casual and friendly. Angelo found himself actually enjoying conversations, laughing at jokes, feeling normal. Then he met her, Sarah, a teacher who loved hiking and terrible puns. She had kind eyes and a genuine smile. When she laughed, it was real, not performative. They talked for hours, discovering shared interests and values. She didn't ask what he did for a living until the very end of the conversation. And when he told her, she said, "That's cool," and moved on to asking about his favorite books instead. "I'd like to see you again," Angelo said as the party wound down. "I'd like that too," Sarah replied, writing her number on his phone. Driving home that night, Angelo felt something he hadn't felt in years. Hope. Not hope that Dorothy would come back. Not hope that his old life would return. But hope for something new, something healthier, something built on mutual respect and genuine partnership. A year later, Angelo stood in front of his bathroom mirror, adjusting his tie. Today was a big day. The security platform he'd been developing had been acquired by a major tech company. He was now the chief technology officer of the security division. His phone buzzed, a text from Sarah. "Good luck today. I'm so proud of you. Dinner tonight to celebrate?" He smiled and replied, "Definitely. I love you." "Love you too. Now go be brilliant." As Angelo headed out, he passed by a coffee shop and glanced inside. There, sitting alone at a corner table, was Dorothy. She looked different, calmer. Her hair was shorter, her clothes more modest. She was reading a book, a real paper book, something he'd never seen her do during their marriage. Their eyes met through the window. She smiled sadly and waved. Angelo waved back. No anger, no bitterness. Just two people who had once meant everything to each other, now living separate lives. Angelo continued walking, feeling grateful. Grateful for the hard lessons, grateful for the healing, grateful for second chances. That sign outside Cortec Industries had changed his life. It had forced him to see the truth he'd been avoiding. And while the truth had hurt, it had also set him free. Free to rebuild himself, free to find genuine love, free to become the man he was always meant to be. Sometimes the worst moments lead to the best transformations. And as Angelo stepped into his car, ready to embrace his new future, he realized something profound. Losing someone who didn't value you isn't a loss. It's a liberation. He drove away, leaving the past behind, and heading toward a future filled with possibility, respect, and real love. The kind of love that doesn't need signs to keep people out. The kind of love that invites you in. Dear viewers, what lessons did you take away from this powerful story? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If this story touched your heart or made you think, please give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you never miss another story that could change your perspective. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, you are worthy of love that respects you, values you, and never makes you feel like you need permission to exist. Stay blessed, and I'll see you in the next story.